Here's a myth versus history story that starts in the Garden of Eden and ends in modern life. You've probably heard that Adam's first wife wasn't Eve, it was Lilith. But that line isn't actually in the Bible. It lives in the margins. Folklore, commentary, centuries of retelling. So let me unpack what's text, what's tradition, and why Lilith still matters. First, Eden. In Genesis, there are two creation snapshots. One says male and female, he created them. The other tells the rib story, where Eve is formed from Adam. Medieval writers noticed the mismatch and asked, if male and female were created at the same time, who was that first woman? Enter Lilith. Lilith's earliest roots echo older Mesopotamian spirits. Lilitu, night wind beings. In Jewish lore, especially the alphabet of Ben Sira, Lilith is crafted from the same earth as Adam. Equal material, equal start. When it comes to intimacy and authority, she refuses to lie beneath Adam, arguing they were made as equals. He says no. She says the ineffable name, God's name, and flies out of Eden. That's the rebellion, not a tantrum, an act of agency. She chooses exile over hierarchy. What happens next depends on the storyteller. In one version, God sends 3 angels to negotiate. Come back, they say, or face consequences. She refuses. The consequence is brutal, a decree that 100 of her children die daily. Lilith is cast as a night demon, blamed for infant mortality and untamed desire. Amulets with angelic names are used to ward her off. So is Lilith a villain? A cautionary tale? Or a mirror for what a culture fears in women who say no? Historically, none of this sits in the canonical Bible. It's folklore layered onto a textual gap, myth answering questions the text leaves open. But culturally, Lilith evolves. Medieval art, serpentine. Medieval art, seductive. In Kabbalah, she's dangerous. In modern feminism, she's reclaimed. Today, Lilith shows up as a symbol of free will, choosing equality over comfort, autonomy over approval. She says, I won't take the deal if the deal erases me. You see her in literature. You see her in the name Lilith Fair. You see her in essays that flip the script. Maybe the first sin was not disobedience, but self-definition. Here's my takeaway. Whether you read her as myth, midrash, or metaphor, Lilith forces a question. What's the cost of agency? She pays a steep price, exiled and demonized. But the story survives because it names a tension we still feel. Belonging versus boundaries, peace versus parity. Eden is the setting. Free will is the plot. And Lilith, right or wrong, makes a choice that echoes. Sometimes the most forbidden fruit is simply the word no. That's Lilith. Not just Adam's first partner in a garden, but the first argument for equal ground.